गुड इवनिंग एवरीबॉडी, नमस्कार सबको। हम लास्ट ईयर भी इसी समय में मिले थे, आज भी मिल रहे हैं। टुडे इज द अर्थ आवर। 8:30 से 9:30 बजे तक हमको लाइट्स ऑफ करने हैं। हमको लाइट्स क्यों ऑफ करने हैं? बिकॉज आई थिंक जो स्थिति है, द होल सिचुएशन ऑफ दिस अर्थ इज क्राइसिस मोड। मैं आपको एक छोटा सा उदाहरण देता हूँ दैट व्हाई आई थिंक इट्स क्राइसिस मोड। I just did an expedition down Ganga, where I cycled throughout, right from Gangotri to Ganga Sagar. It was a 70-day expedition. I tried to cycle very close to the river, but बीच में एक जगह था जहाँ पे flooding हो गया था, so I had to come to the main road. This 200-kilometer stretch of road had roughly around 100-120 flyovers. And मेरे जहन में आया ये while I was cycling on this, great roads, fantastic, great development. हमारे सहूलियत के लिए, for our ease, these flyovers were made. Not one underpass or not one overbridge is there for animals. How will they cross? We are crossing. There's so much of flyover for us. उनकी तरफ कौन देखेगा? Who will think about it? This idea of coexistence comes from there. If we just think about ourselves, this planet will just collapse, and that is what is happening. We have just thought of ourselves development without thinking. There is no sustainable development, and that is really the problem that we are facing today. कि हमको ये अर्थ करना पड़ा है, but no problem can be solved alone. And I genuinely believe that if you and me and us can all join hands and understand the crisis and make small changes. आज का जो पूरा प्रोग्राम होगा, it's about understanding different perspectives कि हम क्या कर सकेंगे. We'll talking to experts, we'll talking to artists, we'll talking to singers. सब मिला के we will be responsible for this earth hour today. Again, housekeeping notes की earth hour 8:30 बजे से 9:30 बजे तक होगा. आधा घंटा I'm just doing a little earlier just to get the perspective in shape. This is called Earth Hour Center Stage. Center stage with me, my friends who are coming on the show, and आप लोग, हम सब center stage हैं. Before we start off, I will just play a clip from our ambassador Shruti Haasan. मैं बंद करता हूँ उसको. She is WWF-India ambassador for nature. She couldn't come because वो जहाँ पे shoot कर रही है वहाँ पे network is not okay, and this is the modern day problems. But उनका पैगाम मैं आप तक पहुँचाता हूँ through this video.
First of all, I'd like to thank WWF-India for inviting me to this wonderful Earth Hour event and making me be a part of such a wonderful global movement. I'm really sorry for not being able to be there for this live event, but I'm sure you guys are going to have an amazing time looking at all the singers and artists and coming together. So here's my message for everyone while we celebrate this Earth Hour. We have the power to make a change. We have a power to conserve and care for our environment. And all the things we take for granted, rivers, oceans, air, all of this is our collective responsibility to care because we must nurture nature. I urge everyone to mark their support for the planet. Please switch off all non-essential lights from 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. Thank you, and together possible. #together possible.
Thank you, Shruti, for this beautiful video. I wish you were here, but messages are here the same. It's influences like all these people who are today going to be on the show, I think makes this message even more potent. This is not just entertainment. This is a situation where we are coming and we are taking an oath and we are pledging. And my next guest is somebody who I know from Parinita days. और तब से आज तक, she has done many roles, many films, many things she has done. But what she's always been consistent about is her love for the planet, her love for the earth. And that's the UNEP ambassador, Mirza, my very good friend, and somebody who has tirelessly, with passion and with absolute focus, she is the earth's child. Welcome, Dia, to the Earth Hour.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I've already turned all my lights off.
Yeah,
I thought थोड़ा ज़्यादा respite ले लेते हैं from all our daily habits. Um,
Absolutely.
Thank you, Shantanu. It's so wonderful to join you again this year. Last year was special. I
Yeah.
had the opportunity to join you from a beach in the Maldives, जहाँ पर इतने सुंदर कैंडल्स लगे हुए थे समुंदर
Beautiful
किनारे,
flowers.
सब बैठे हुए थे, सब मिलकर अर्था सेलिब्रेट कर रहे थे. आज घर
Correct.
पर है, but I get to celebrate Eartha with my baby boy for the first
Oh,
time.
oh my God.
Yeah,
Dear, what kind of world do you want your baby boy to grow up into?
I want him to grow in a world that has balance. Um, a balance that creates clean air, water to drink, safe food to eat, and a planet that is alive and thriving, and wildlife that is alive and thriving. You know, Shantanu, I show him this picture book with animals in it every day to
Wow.
get him to eat. Mothers will identify with what I'm saying here. It's a little
Mhm.
tough. After the first 5 bites, he loses
Of course.
interest. So you have to
Of
find
course.
ways to get him to
Mm.
eat, to finish his meal. So one of the
Mm.
things we do is I show him this picture book with animals.
Mhm.
And it starts off with the blue whale, and then there's the orca,
Mm.
and then of course there's elephants and giraffes and rhino and tiger.
Mm.
And the moment you say hippopotamus, he starts laughing. He finds it very funny. But it occurs to me every time I show him these pictures that he responds to it so beautifully, like it's something that is so natural to him.
Mhm.
He really, like, literally gurgles and coos and talks to these animals like he knows them.
Animals. Yeah. Yeah.
And I would honestly, we've heard this before, but I feel it like from deep in my heart. I hope he lives in a world, grows up in a world where he can actually see all of these animals and discover them in their natural habitat and not have to only see them in picture books.
That's beautifully said. Yeah, you've traveled all over as an ambassador, as somebody passionate. You don't have to be ambassador to be passionate about the earth. But tell me one thing, Dia, where are we going wrong?
Well, Shantanu, I think it's a known fact that one less than 1% of the population of this planet is largely responsible for the devastation and destruction that we are experiencing, right? The triple planetary crisis, as we
Mm.
define it,
Mhm.
the crisis of biodiversity loss, the
Mhm.
crisis of pollution,
Mhm.
and the crisis of climate change.
Mhm.
These three have happened because there are some very rich people making some very bad choices.
Correct.
But I think, and I just genuinely believe, and I really think that the age of the internet empowers us with the
True.
ability to
True.
change that. You know, we have to. So this 1% of the population has defined our consumer habits.
Mhm.
They have decided what we are going to eat, what we are going to wear, what we are going to watch, how we're going to live, and in doing so, how much of the planet we are destroying. So the change that we can make and really disrupt that power
Mhm.
is by making conscious choices. I think that if our habits of consumerism
Mhm.
change,
Mhm.
you know, and we change the fact that the idea, you know, you mentioned in the opening where you were talking about your expedition from the source to the sea of Ganga, and I've done that trip as well. And I'm
Mm,
sure
yes.
you saw a lot more change this time because I did
Mhm.
it 5 years ago, and I won't be surprised by some of the things you may tell me. But the idea that development has to have happen at the cost of environment, at the cost of ecology,
Mm.
is wrong, is completely flawed. And there are enough models that exist.
Mm.
There is enough innovation, there is enough science,
Mm.
there's enough
Mm.
technology in today's world
Mm.
that helps us understand and is
Mm.
proven
Mm.
that we can build sustainably.
Mm.
We can build back and restore the balance that the planet needs. And
Correct.
we don't need to operate from a place of greed that is
Mm.
selfish and self
Mhm.
serving and
Mhm.
completely ignorant of the fact that all human health, all human health well being Everything is
Hmm.
connected to the health and the well-being of the planet
Hmm.
and the survival of every other species. You
Hmm.
know, yesterday there was a report, right, that said that microplastics are now visible, have been
Hmm.
found in the
Hmm.
bloodstream of human beings, right?
Yes.
Earlier there was a report that said microplastics have been found in the placenta
Hmm.
of a mother
Of mothers.
and in the bloodstream of a baby.
Hmm.
I mean, if these things don't shake us up,
What will?
and what will? What will? We're
True.
not even talking about a melting iceberg somewhere really far away and levels rising in the next 30 years. We're talking about what our habits, what our mindless consumption, our thoughtless production is doing to us right now in this moment.
Thank you, Dia. I think uh, even hours and hours and hours are not enough to even begin to understand the magnanimity of the problem that we face and the crisis we face, and this
But the solutions
incre-
exist.
of course, and this incredible bad habit of just thinking we are the only ones who live on this planet.
Yeah.
And I think, yes, you're right. Solutions are there. And please keep on following what Dia Mirza is doing. And it's incredible what she does. Uh, please keep on following what WWF India does and many such organizations. We all have to come together to make this planet a better place so that children like Dia's children would just enter this world, small, tiny babies, they can match up to the paintings that we are giving them. Ki nahi, it's not just on the paper, it also exists outside the paper. That's all we can pray for. Dia, thank you for being part of this. Every time I call you, every time you're there, without any questions asked, thank you so much. Love you so much. Thank you for being such an ambassador for environment. Take
Love
care.
you. Thank you. Thank you for doing this. And have a
Thank you so
wonderful
much.
time ahead. May this earth hour be magical. May it bring everyone together in solidarity and, of course, inspire many, many people to do better.
Thank you,
Thank
dear.
you.
Take care. Bye. Bye. That was Dia Mirza for you. My next guest is again a dear friend of mine who has sung the Earth anthem for me this time, the great Mohit Chauhan. Um, so I'll. Hey, Mohit.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can see you. Thank you for being part of the Earth Hour, uh, part crisis, part solution, and part
Right.
all of us coming together. Mohit, first of all, thank you for singing such a beautiful song. People are loving it. They just live it. इतने सरल वे से आपने गाया है और एक पैगाम दिया. It's not singing. The way you've sung the song almost like a conversation. Thank you for एक. I asked you once. You didn't ask any question. You said, Shantanu, whatever I can do, I can do. I will do. Mohit, efforts like this is what makes things that WWF India is doing becomes worth it, because you are the influences. You people listen to you. People just go mesmeric when you sing. So thank you, Mohit. Mohit, एक चीज बताएं कि आपने तो जियोलॉजी लेके पढ़ाई किया, राइट?
हाँ, हाँ.
व्हाट इज क्या हो रहा है? what is the what is the earth looking to you? कि आप जहां बैठे हैं, आप you travel around, you see things. What is, are we exaggerating this crisis situation ki actually it is there?
Uh, there's definitely a change, man. It's that I grew up in the hills. I
Correct.
spent a whole lot of time, seeing the mountains, the rivers, forests, and then I have been, living in the big cities for many, many years now. Now my frequency of going to Himachal or to the mountain is not as much as it used to be, or when I was staying over there. There's always a change that is happening, and you see it all around you. Uh, like a simple concept that I have in my mind is, for example, there's a very beautiful place, you know, amongst beautiful forest high up in the mountains,
Hmm.
and people love to go over there. Maybe there's a beautiful temple over there. Maybe there's a beautiful ruins over there, or a magical place where you can get the vibrations. You sit in the forest, and it's beautiful, it's magical.
Hmm.
Now to go to that place, it'll take you about, for example, 5 hours, of nice, easy travel. So what I, in my personal opinion, would want is that the road need not be turned into a 4 lane or 6 lane to many these kind of places.
समझ गया मैं.
Keep to slow it down, to keep
Correct.
the fun of traveling through beautiful forest, mountains. Of course, it's going to be slightly slow because there's a lot of curves over there. Now that beautiful curvy road through the forest, where you can get down from your vehicle, look down into the valley, does not need to be changed into a 4 lane or 6 lane, where reaching to that place will take you 2.5 hours. That kind of a soch, that kind of a thinking process, needs to come into, because that's also part of our culture.
Absolutely.
We all come from the land, from the motherland, from the fields. सबके गांव हैं, जो हमारे बुजुर्ग थे सब लोग. We all come from like those kind of places.
Correct.
And now we live in big cities, but we should connect with our roots, most
Correct.
important, and find beauty in that, because there is beauty in that.
सबको लेके जीना है. I can understand. That we have always discussed, you and me.
And a sense of compassion.
Why do we just think that we are the? I was talking to Dia right now. यही बात हो रही थी कि क्यों लगता है कि हम ही लोग हैं यार. हम और कोई दिखता नहीं. चिड़िया नहीं दिखते, पंछी नहीं दिखते. Dogs on the road, animals in the forest. They just seem to be for us just an entertainment stuff. Like you keep on switching channels. We don't realize that they share the same ground. Why do we have the only right? So I think that is the reason why Earth Hour is celebrated all over. कि आप development करें, आप progress करें, but mindlessly ना करें. Think of the other species. And that's what we always saying. Mohit,
No, I know. I sort of, I've been working with animals for, a couple of years now.
Absolutely.
I used to do that a long time back also, but this time for the past 2.5 years since COVID came in, we were really active into that field, and it's amazing to interact with animals, with birds, with the dogs, for example. And there's a certain healing that you get, when you connect with children of nature, जो true, जिसका कोई एजेंडा नहीं होता, कुछ नहीं, like forest होता है, उसका कोई एजेंडा नहीं है. आप पेड़ के नीचे बैठेंगे, छाया आपको ब्यूटीफुल मिलेगी, खुशबू मिलेगी, हवा मिलेगी. उसी को एक्सपीरियंस करने के लिए लोग, you keep traveling to beautiful places. Why can't those beautiful places remain and expand more into more of our everyday lives,
Totally. Mohit, can you dedicate a song for the Earth Hour? कुछ line.
Yeah, and thank you for having me on this Earth Hour talk. I think it's a great gesture. It's a great symbol of, thinking about Mother Earth, and giving it at least some thought, sometime, that things that we need to do to make this beautiful Earth, the way we dream about it, the way it used to be. तो उसको भी मेरा ये फंडा है कि नेचर को भी तो हम वापस कुछ दें. हम नेचर से लेते रहते हैं हमेशा. हमारा एग्जिस्टेंस ही नेचर की वजह से है, लेकिन उसको वापस हम क्या देते हैं, वो भी तो हमको कभी सोचना चाहिए.
और मुझे लगता है कि तुम्हारा जो आवाज है, वो तुम्हारे जो बड़े-बड़े लूप्स हैं, जो हम छोटे नहीं करने चाहिए, they will become more bearable and enjoyable once your voice keeps on lifting to the car and comes to his. Mohit, can we hear something from you?
Okay. I'll just strum something.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Aha.
सुन घिए मेरी तू बड़ी इतनी तू किया करी हुई हो, तू बड़ी इतनी तू किया करी हुई हो.
Wow, beautiful. ब्यूटीफुल। दो और लाइन कुछ गा दो ना, ये तो बहुत जल्दी खत्म हो गया।
क्या खत्म, जल्दी खत्म हो गया?
बहुत जल्दी, दो और लाइन कुछ और गा दो किसी और चीज का, चलेगा मेरे को, मैशअप है ये।
अच्छा,
Anything of your choice.
okay.
It doesn't have to be linked to anything, just
Okay, there's this song that I made on a travel like you, actually,
oh, lovely.
Okay. मतलब मेरे दिमाग में पिक्चर था कि जो एक बंदा है पहाड़ों में घूमता है खूबसूरती के लिए, एमलेसली घूमता है, जो सोल के लिए, अपनी कोई ढूंढने के लिए कुछ नहीं।
क्या बात।
बाबा जी हमको दे दो पार्वती से जो लाए हो, बाबा जी हमको दे दो पार्वती से जो लाए हो, अपना दिल भी है वही तुम जहां होकर आए हो, पार्वती से जो लाए हो, अच्छा है जो भी किया दिल ने दिल से कह दिया, सदियों में क्यों लम्हों में जी, फिर मिले ना मिले ये जिंदगी।
मैंने माइक म्यूट कर दिया था just for the bandwidth. Thank you, Mohit, for being part of this. I hope you will be there. You are doing so much of amazing work, you and your family, for the conservation, for animals, everything. आज समय कम है, but I hope one day, very soon, we can have a longer session with you, where we really want to understand your ideology. Thank you, Mohit, for being part of this. On behalf of
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, and lots of thanks to you and WWF and Earth Hour. Thank you so much, man.
Take care.
Thanks. Bye.
So this is like a full classroom. I'm conducting a professor from one class to another. Well, the next lady, she is a rock star. She is Dr. Sejal Vora. She is the program director at WWF-India. But you forget the titles, forget everything else. I think what is amazing is that she is a conservationist by heart, not by titles, not by degrees. This is a way of life. Welcome on Earth Hour. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you, Shantanu. And thank you for that introduction. I'm not going to actually deny it, because it's true that I live and breathe conservation almost from when I was a teenager, I think. So
okay. And I'm going to call you Sejal.
Sure.
I just want to. There's a myth that conservation program happens in a select. It's a niche thing. 5-star hotels, maybe zoology, botany. I don't think so. You started with all this. You started with a simple girl who just was bothered by certain things she saw, and I want you to talk about this from the perspective that how can any one of our listeners be a responsible conservationist? What does he or she have to do? And the fact, when you're telling me that story, if you can mention about Jabarkhet Nature Reserve, because that for me was fascinating, that how a plot of land suddenly became such an important obsession for you, and today it's such a great place to go. When you're answering this, if by chance we reach near 8:30, I will interrupt you because we'll do the countdown and switch off the lights. Please go ahead.
Okay, I'll try not to talk for so long without interruption. So let me first answer your question by going back a little bit in time. A time warp in a way. So I was one of those very annoying teenagers, and I'm sure you've seen them. The ones who keep telling you switch this off, switch that off, ye band karo, AC band karo, bucket bath lo, shower mat lo. So I was one of those, from my childhood. And I used to annoy the hell out of all my friends. And one of the things that they used to push back and tell me is, Sejal, you keep saying all this, do switch off the car AC and all that, but what difference is it going to make if one person does it? If one person switches off the AC or one person, has a bucket bath, there's billions of people on this planet. What difference is it going to make? And this is something that used to bother me. It really did bother me to say, yeah, in a way, maybe they're right. What even if I change, even if I do something differently, what difference is it going to make in this big picture? And then you see something like Earth Hour.
Correct.
Earth Hour in a way also changed my mindset, because here you have hundreds of millions of people taking individual but collective action. So each individual is taking an action, but it's adding up to a collective action of hundreds of millions of people. And my question now is, and the challenge is, how do we get these hundreds of millions of people to do one small thing every day? Not just on the hour of Earth Hour, but imagine if everybody did one thing every day, just one small thing, imagine the impact. So, this collection of individual actions adds up to what the change is going to be. And I think that's what we have to keep pushing for. And that was, I didn't have that answer when I was a teenager. I couldn't respond to them and say that, lots of individual actions can make a difference. And I used to get flummoxed. But, this is the power of something like Earth Hour. And we need to make sure that people don't just see it as a one-off action, but how do we inculcate this so that it actually influences people's behavior?
Correct.
So that was one part of the question that you asked. You then asked me about Jabarkhet. So that now takes me, in a leap of time from being a teenager to an adult.
Okay.
And as an adult,
She's still a precocious adult, right?
Irritating, precocious, whatever. But really, I know that something that I had was a hunger for change. Or a hunger for making change, So one thing that a lot of environmentalists and conservation people end up doing is a lot of gloom and doom, right? Ye nahi ho raha hai, this is going down, rivers are getting dirty. And it's always this negative messaging, which kind of drags you down. And I went through a phase in my life where I was also really dragged down. And I said, what's the point? Nothing is going our way. The world is just going to the dogs. But then, at a certain point in my life, I realized that I have to be the change. I can't just complain. I have to show the way. And that's when this, this little piece of degraded forest that you're talking about became an obsession. So I came back to India after several years abroad, about 15 years abroad. And I went back to my hometown, which is Mussoorie, and I was shocked. I was really, really shocked at the change and how badly degraded it was. And also some of these childhood haunts that we used to have were actually in very, very bad shape. And I thought, here I am going around the world telling people what to do. And look what's going on in my own backyard. I need to do something here.
ये आपका बैकयार्ड है कहाँ पे? ये आपका बैकयार्ड है कहाँ पे?
हमारा बैकयार्ड है मसूरी में, उत्तराखंड में. अच्छा. So this is, the construction and the development and all that has happened there. So I really wanted to turn it around and show what the Himalayas are really like. The Himalayas are my passion. If you say what passion I have, it's the Himalayas.
You and I need to meet on this.
Yeah, we will one day. So that's what I wanted to do. And I realized that so I'm not very wealthy. I'm not connected. I'm not powerful, but I have passion, vision, and drive. And to me, that is what matters. Anybody, I think any individual, you ask me what makes the change, any individual with passion, with commitment, and with vision can make a change. And that's what happened. We turned around a degraded forest into a thriving ecosystem today. It's possible. Everything is possible if you have the commitment. So that's the message that I want to give. That individuals can drive change if you really want to.
I have a mobile phone which tells me a time, so it doesn't give me a countdown. But
Okay.
let's assume that we are reaching a countdown. Even if you are a few seconds earlier, I think we can only do good to the earth, can't damage it. So
Right.
let's do a countdown together.
Okay.
10. And so idea is once we count down, we want everybody who's listening this, if they can switch off the lights, keep some lights on. I'm not saying you switch everything on, but it's a symbolism. You're doing a symbol. That's very important. So let's do the countdown. 10,
Okay.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and this is the Earth Hour. I'll just switch off the lights. 1 minute. I know this is dark, but I think that is what's so beautiful about this. You said, now, what can we do together to make a change? I think just the fact that I'm hoping that lots of people around the globe currently have just done this small switch. It's not just a physical switch; it's a switch of a mind. It's a switch of a belief system that we can make a change, and positively, we can all come together. We can part of it. Can you do you want to say, now the lights are off? Do you want to say something to the audience who are watching this, Sejal?
No, all I want to say is what I said earlier is please don't do this action just for 1 hour. Make it a part of your life.
That's true. Thank you, Sejal, for being part of this.
Pleasure.
And you come, and I really want to talk to you about this forest change one-on-one, because this is extremely inspiring. Thank you once again
Thank
for
you.
being part of the Earth Hour. Thanks again.
Thank you. Thanks.
My next guest, who is now lights off हो गई हैं, और ये आदमी is just brilliance in terms of light, what he writes, his voice, and he's been a friend for me for a long time. Swanand Kirkire.
Namaskar, sir.
क्या बात है, sir. Sir, I'm sorry. I know you were doing so many things, but thank you.
No.
तब भी आप समय निकाल के आपने ये मेरे एक कॉल से आपने डिसाइड किया that you want to be part of this. I think I'm so indebted to you for these small things, yeah, Swanand.
Anytime, sir. And the best thing that I'm in a hotel room right now in Indore, and they also just did the whole hotel light shut off. Shut off किया था हम लोगों ने अभी, तो उन्होंने हम लोगों को नोटिफिकेशन भेजा था अभी कि this is going to happen, and they are going to do this, and they have called people in the lobby. They called people in the lobby, and people are standing there right now. So as we speak.
My God, Swanand, absolutely amazing. Swanand, तुमसे ये सब लेके तो मैं हमेशा बात करता रहा हूँ. मुझे एक चीज बताओ कि ये जो अर्थ का क्राइसिस चल रहा है, does it affect art? What do poets write about? What do singers sing about? Does it become little एक अजीब एक वातावरण बनता है क्या जब आप देखते हो something like this?
सर बिल्कुल अजीब वातावरण बनता है, क्योंकि हम कहते हैं कि अर्थ का क्राइसिस चल रहा है, लेकिन क्राइसिस तो ह्यूमन का चल रहा है. क्राइसिस तो ह्यूमन क्रिएट कर रहा है. तो अर्थ का तो कोई क्राइसिस नहीं. अगर ह्यूमन को अर्थ डिसाइड करेगी कि कुछ देर में एक झटका मारना है, तो इट्स there is nothing, we are nobodies. So पर मुझे लगता है कि ये constantly आपको लगता है कि झकझोर देने का मन करता है, लगता है आपको as a poet, as a this thing, कि किस तरह से आप इस बात को कन्वे कर सको कि भाई अपनी ही है ये दुनिया, और ये दुनिया, ये अर्थ, ये चीज जो है, ये ऐसी की ऐसी बचाना हमारे लिए कितना जरूरी है, हमारी आने वाली जनरेशंस के लिए कितना जरूरी है. कितनी सारी चीजें हैं जो एक दूसरे से जुड़ के चलती है. तो पर मुझे लगता है कि ये विजडम जो है लोगों तक पहुंचाना किस तरह से, ये बड़ा मुश्किल काम है.
सोनंद, ये एक हमारा बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट लाइन है, शेप द फ्यूचर, कि अब हम फ्यूचर को मैंने एक्चुअली ये एक टी शर्ट में दिखाना चाहता हूँ, शेप आवर फ्यूचर. मैंने स्वानंद को भी दिया था, बेचारा भगदड़ी में बम्बई में भूल गया, बट मुझे यकीन है हम जब सब नेक्स्ट मिलेंगे वो जरूर पहनेगा. भाई बहुत ही खूबसूरत टी शर्ट है, शेप आवर फ्यूचर. एक बहुत सुंदर सा एक यहाँ पे ग्लोब भी है. स्वानंद, मुझे बताइए कि ऐसा क्यों करते हैं कि हमें क्यों नहीं लगता कि बाकी लोग भी हमारे साथ रहते हैं? Why do we feel कि यार we are the only ones?
वही मुझे लगता है कि वही चीज इंसान को, मैंने 2-4 पंक्तियां कुछ लिखी थी, वो यही थी कि मतलब बेसिकली कि सबका साथ लेके चला. मतलब वो अर्थ ही कह रही है कि बहुत हो गया बेटा, मैं जरा सा थिरकूंगी और होगा कहर, तू झेल ले बेटा. मैंने तेरे को अकल दी थी कि तेरे को जो सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी चीज थी वो इंसान को दी, वो है ब्रेन. कि और वो इसलिए दिया था कि तू सबका भला करेगा, सबको साथ लेके चला करेगा। मैं आज भी एक ट्राइबल, जब मैं किसी ट्राइबल इसमें जाके आया, अभी मैं इंदौर में हूँ, तो इंदौर के पास में एक ट्राइबल है, तो मुझे यही समझ में आता है कि वो वहां पे, आज मेरे को एक स्टोरी सुना रहा था कोई कि पेड़ पे से उन्होंने फल खाया, तो वो जो साथ में गए थे वो बोले कि 2 तोड़ दो ना। तो वो बोला कि 2 क्यों तोड़ना है, तुमको कितना चाहिए? एक चाहिए ना, तो एक खाओ ना, फिर एक खत्म हो जाएगा तो फिर दूसरा तोड़ेंगे।
करेक्ट।
जब जितना चाहिए तो मैं जो तोड़
बिल्कुल।
के घर में, तो वो कहने लगा कि ये तो उसने कहा, तो उन्होंने छोटा सा फार्म बनाया था, तो वो फार्म बनाया था तो वो ट्राइबल उसकी रखवाली करने के लिए थे। तो वो उनके फार्म में फल लगे थे, तो 2-3 फल आए थे, तो वो बर्ड खा गया फल।
अच्छा।
तो वो घर पे आई तो उसको गुस्सा आया कि यार ऐसे कैसे खा गया बर्ड फल। तो वो ट्राइबल जो गार्ड था वो बोला कि वो उसका था।
अच्छा।
That was his.
Correct.
तो
It is not just yours. Correct.
It's just not yours. जो पेड़ पे आया है तो वो पेड़ पे आया है, तो
सबका है।
उसका भी है और तुम्हारा भी है। तो तुमको भूख लगा है, तुम खा लो ना भाई। पर तुम पेड़ को तोड़ दोगे, ये कौन सा लॉजिक है? तुम भूख लगा तो तोड़ के खा लो, और तुमको और भूख लगा है तो और तोड़ के खा लो। लेकिन मैं
सिर्फ मेरा ही है और कोई नहीं खाएगा,
मेरा है और कोई और नहीं खाएगा, ये कोई लॉजिक नहीं है।
Absolutely.
I think that tribal wisdom has to come in our lives.
Absolutely, Swanand. Swanand, अवतार के लिए तुम कुछ पंक्तियां गा सकते हो क्या?
मैं 2 पंक्तियां वो मैं एंशिएंट विजडम की गाता हूँ। मैं गुरुजी का तो एक निरंजन, उसमें गोरखनाथ जी का भजन है जिसमें उन्होंने बहुत सिंपल भाषा में कहा है, गुरुजी मैं तो एक निरंजन ध्याऊं जी, दूजे के संग ना जाऊं जी, जाऊं जी, जाऊं जी, जाऊं जी। फूल न तोड़ू जी, पत्थर न, फूल न तोड़ू जी, पत्ती न तोड़ू जी, मैं ना कोई पेड़ दुखाऊं जी, बन बन की मैं लकड़ी न तोड़ूं, बन बन की मैं लकड़ी न तोड़ूं, ना ही मैं नीर बहाऊं जी, दूजे के संग ना जाऊं जी, जाऊं जी, जाऊं जी, जाऊं जी, गुरु जी, गुरु जी।
क्या बात, क्या बात। स्वानंद,
थैंक
यू सो मच कि तुम आए। मुझे पता था बहुत कुछ था, तुम आए, एंड तुम हर बार आते हो कि नॉट जस्ट अबाउट दिस अर्थ आवर, तुम्हारे हर राइटिंग में जो श्रोता देख रहे हैं फेसबुक में हर जगह पे, मुझे हर बार तुम्हें एक चीख सुनाई देती है, समटाइम्स इन एंग्विश, समटाइम्स इट्स एंगर, एंड समटाइम्स देयर इज अ शाउट ऑफ यूरेका कि नहीं, मुझे कोई मिला है जो कुछ कर रहा है। हमेशा तुम्हारे कविताओं में मुझे इसकी झलक मिलती रहती है। तुम ऐसे लिखते रहो ताकि मैं ऐसे धुन देता रहूं तुम्हारे साथ।
थैंक यू सो मच।
और मैं एक्चुअली ये कहना चाहता हूँ आज इस लाइव अर्थ आवर में कि बहुत जल्दी स्वानंद और मैं, बहुत दिन ही किया हम लोगों ने, बहुत जल्दी एक एल्बम लेके आ रहे हैं, which is about these things which bother us, these things which we think needs a change, and we will come back. बहुत दिन से हम सोच रहे हैं कि यार हम कर नहीं रहे हैं, बट ये अर्थ आर के ने ये शपथ ले लिया मैंने आपके साथ कि we have to do this album.
मैं इसके बिल्कुल आपके साथ हूँ, और थैंक यू सो मच फॉर डूइंग दिस, शांत।
Thank you. You take care, Swanand. Take care, sir. That was Swanand Kirkire. He was actually Indore में है. He had a 2-3 programs थे, वो बेचारा भागते वो आया। He's a really committed guy, absolutely committed guy. मेरा बचपन का दोस्त है, बाबरमन से लेके आज तक का सफर उन्हीं के साथ हुआ है। नेक्स्ट आर्टिस्ट, यंग गाय, बट इसके फैन फॉलोइंग, इसके बैंड का फैन फॉलोइंग कमाल। प्लीज वेलकम नीरज आर्या।
हेलो सर।
कैफे, नमस्ते। मैंने नीरज के साथ हाल ही में काम किया है, एक ऐसा फिल्म किया है शेर दिल, जो एनवायरनमेंट लेके ही बात करता है, उसमें नीरज ने मेरे लिए गाना गाया है। बट ये गाना गाते गाते मुझे जो ये इंसान दिखा और इसके बैंड का जो आइडियोलॉजी मुझे बहुत पसंद आया, दैट्स व्हाई आई इनवाइटेड हिम टू बी पार्ट ऑफ अर्थ आवर, बिकॉज ये कबीर गाता है, इसके श्रोता कबीर के दोहे सुनते हैं, समझते हैं, और हम कहते हैं कि श्रोताओं को कॉम्प्लिकेटेड चीजें समझ नहीं आते। और यहाँ पे एक एग्जांपल है कबीर कैफे, जो इतने पौराणिक पंक्तियां गा गा के लोगों को एंटरटेन करने, यूथ को कर रहे हैं, लाइक अ बिग फेस्टिवल। नीरज, वेलकम ऑन अवतार।
थैंक यू शांतनु सर, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर मेकिंग मी पार्ट ऑफ दिस। मेरा दिल से सौभाग्य है टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ दिस, जहाँ पे इतने बड़े स्वानंद भाई को भी मैंने देखा, लाइक आई एम अ बिग फैन, लेजेंड आदमी है, और भी लोग जो आप ज्वाइन करेंगे, बट मैं उनसे बहुत दिल से जुड़ा हुआ हूँ और बहुत एडमायर करता हूँ उनको, उनकी लिखाई को और उनकी गायकी को। तो मेरे लिए बड़ा सौभाग्य है आपके साथ इस मंच में रहना, और आपको तो हम सभी जानते हैं, आपके बारे में मैं क्या कहूँ, बट थैंक यू सो।
मेरे बारे में कुछ मत कहो, मुझे ये कहो कि कबीर के कई पंक्तियां हैं जो एनवायरनमेंट लेके बात करती है, राइट? तुम कभी कभी इसको लेके गाते भी हो, तुम्हारा यंग ऑडियंस इसको सुनता भी है। कैसे बनाया इसको आपने तक कंटेम्प्रेरी कबीर को?
सर एक्चुअली वही है कि कबीर ने मैं तो यही कहूंगा कि कबीर की शायद हमारे पर एक मेहर है, क्योंकि कुछ बनाया तो जाता नहीं, सब होता है।
बिल्कुल।
और जैसे नेचर है वो सब अपने आप में होता है, आर्टिफिशियल तो कुछ होता नहीं है लाइफ। मुझे लगता है कबीर भी आर्टिफिशियल नहीं है, वो सच है। और जैसे एक लाइन है जो मैं शेयर करना चाह रहा था कि झाड़ बिंद और जीव चराचर में फूल रहा मेरा साई। झाड़ में भी तू है, जीव में भी तू है, फूल में भी तू है, चराचर मतलब चर अचर, आसमान और धरती में भी तू है। कहीं जहां देखूं कुछ खाली नहीं, कुछ खाली नहीं है, देयर इज नो एम्प्टीनेस, कुछ खाली नहीं है, सब घट घट रहा समाई, अखियों में लालन छाई। मतलब हर घट में तू है, हर घट में एक एनर्जी है जो हर चीज में, वो फूल में भी है, वो झाड़ में भी है, वो जीव में भी है, वो धरती में भी है, वो आसमान में भी, वो आप में भी है, वो मेरे में भी है। और वो वही आज का दिन है कि एक रोशनी सबके अंदर है, और आई थिंक वो हमें उसकी कदर और उसका ध्यान हमें बहुत रखना चाहिए।
बिल्कुल। कबीर, तुम अर्थ आवर के लिए कुछ पंक्तियां क्या गा सकते हो? कुछ गा दो हमारे लिए, तुम्हारे बड़े फैन हैं यहाँ पे, और तुम्हारे आवाज के तो हम बहुत
मैं पहले ये जो दो लाइन है, झाड़ बिंद और जीव चराचर, इसको थोड़ा गा दूंगा।
बिल्कुल।
तो मेरे गुरुजी का नाम है पद्मश्री प्रहलाद सिंह टिपानिया जी, उनकी बदौलत मैं हूँ आज जो भी हूँ, तो उनसे ही सुना था ये गाना। ओ झाड़ बिंद और जीव चराचर में फूल रहा मेरा साई, फूल रहा मेरा साई, फूल रहा मेरा साई, जहाँ देखूं वो खाली नहीं, ओ जहाँ देखूं वो खाली नहीं, सब घट घट रहा समाई हो, अखियों में लालन छाई, साहिब ने भांग पिलाई, अखियों में लालन छाई, साहिब ने भांग पिलाई, अखियों में लालन छाई। तो ये बहुत प्यारा है और ये गाना हमको भी करना है। तो ये बहुत वो साहिब की बात कर रहा है, और वो साहिब हर जगह है, ये लाइन में उसने बता दिया।
बिल्कुल।
तो अगला गाना सर मैं गाना चाहूंगा, जो भी ऑडियंस देख रही है, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर वॉचिंग अस, एंड मैं शांतु सर के लिए ही गा रहा हूँ और आप सभी के लिए गा रहा हूँ, जो भी ये देख रहे हैं कि जिंदगी एक्चुअली बहुत छोटी है। तो बड़ा फेमस गाना है कबीर जी का, मत कर माया को अहंकार, मत कर काया को अभिमान, काया गार से कांची जैसे ओसरा मोती, झोंका पवन का लग जाए, झपका पवन का लग जाए, काया धूल हो जाती। गाना सिंपल है कि एक दिन मट्टी से ही निकले हैं, मट्टी में ही मिलना है, और ओस के मोती जब सुबह सुबह की जब ओस पे जब एक मोती पड़ता है, हवा का झोंका आता है, जैसे वो बिखर के गिर जाती है, वैसी अपनी लाइफ भी है। तो आई थिंक इस मिट्टी से हम निकले और इस मिट्टी में ही हमें मिलना है। तो मैं दो लाइनें आपको उसकी सुना देता हूँ।
बिल्कुल।
मत कर माया को अहंकार, मत कर काया को अभिमान, काया गार से कांची, काया गार से कांची रे, जैसे ओसरा मोती, झोंका झपका, पवन का लग जाए झपका, पवन का लग जाए काया धूल हो जासी, काया तेरी धूल हो जासी। बोलिया भवानी हो नाथ, गुरु जी ने सिर पे धरिया हाथ, जिनसे मुक्ति मिल जासी, जिनसे मुक्ति मिल जासी, जिनसे मुक्ति मिल जासी रे, जैसे ओसरा मोती झोंका, पवन का लग जाए झपका, पवन का लग जाए काया धूल हो जासी, काया तेरी धूल हो जासी, काया तेरी धूल हो जासी, काया तेरी धूल हो जासी। थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू।
हर बार ताली बजाता हूँ मैं, मेरा माइक म्यूट रह जाता है, तो अभी मैं अनम्यूट करके ताली बजा रहा हूँ। मेरा भी बहुत मेरा क्या होगा भगवान जानता है। बट नीरज एक चीज बताओ,
हाँ जी।
तुम्हें मेरे से एक चीज प्रॉमिस करनी पड़ेगी। तुम्हारे
हाँ जी।
इतने फैन फॉलोइंग्स हैं कबीर कैफे के,
जी।
आई नो वो बात ही हो रही थी, दे वांट टू कम नेक्स्ट वीक, दे वांट टू मीट मी। मैं
हाँ।
तुमको जितना हेल्प कर सकता हूँ इन टर्म्स ऑफ स्टूडियो रिकॉर्डिंग में करूंगा, बट तुम्हारे इतने फैंस हैं, इतने चाहने वाले हैं, मैं चाहता हूँ कि हर बार हर कॉन्सर्ट में तुम 4 पंक्तियां ये बताओ सबको, जब गाना वाना हो जाएगा लास्ट
हाँ
गाने
जी।
के पहले, कि
हाँ।
भाई थोड़ा आसपास बाकी लोगों को भी देख लो, हमको सबको साथ में रहना है, सिर्फ सिर्फ हमारी धरती नहीं है,
राइट।
पंछी भी हैं, पेड़ हैं, फल है, जीव जंतु भी हैं, सिर्फ हम ही नहीं है। तुम
राइट।
सिर्फ ये पैगाम हर कॉन्सर्ट में अगर दे दो, मेरा काम हो जाएगा,
जरूर सर,
हम सबका काम हो जाएगा।
जरूर सर,
And ultimately
जरूर
that
सर।
is that is what we are all have to come. डॉक्टर सेजल ने जो बताया कि ये सिर्फ 1 घंटे लाइट ऑफ करने की बात नहीं, अब ये तो बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट सिंबल है, पर ये अगर हम अपने, और क्या आर्टिस्ट का ना, स्पेशली तुम लोग यूर द यंग किड्स यार, बहुत हम लोगों को बहुत सुनने वाले कम हो गए, तुम लोगों के बिल्कुल कमाल के फैंस हैं।
नहीं
सो
सर,
तुम बोलोगे तो ये सुनेंगे, हम बोलेंगे तो ये बंगाली क्या बोल रहा है। सो I want you to talk this language to the people who come to listen to you, Neeraj, because ultimately
Right.
you are the change. Okay? Thank you so much
yes
for
sir,
being part of our talk.
थैंक यू सर। आई थिंक इट्स इम्पोर्टेंट ऑल्सो कि बहुत जरूरी है, क्योंकि कबीर ने कहा एक लाइन भी कि हर जगह तू ही तू है, तू का तू, इनका भद मदा मेरे अब्दू, अच्छी करनी कर ले तू, डाली फूल जगत के माई, जहाँ देखूं वहां तू का तू। तो आई थिंक इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट जो आप कह रहे हैं, और हम लोग, आपको प्रॉमिस करता हूं मैं कि हम हर कॉन्सर्ट पे इस एक मुहिम को लेके जाएंगे, और जितनी भी हमारी जनता हमें देखती है, हम उनको, यंग जनरेशन स्पेशली जो अभी आ रहे हैं, हमारी जो न्यू जनरेशन है, उनको उनके तक ये मैसेज जरूर पहुंचाएंगे, और ये थिंक ये हमारा कर्तव्य है, और हमारी जॉब है। आई थिंक वी ऑल शुड डू दिस। तो
Thank
थैंक
you,
यू सो
Neeraj.
मच सर,
Thank
फॉर
you
मेकिंग मी
so
अ
much.
पार्ट ऑफ दिस।
Thank you so much on
थैंक यू
behalf
सर।
of WWF-India, and I love you so much. Take care, babu. Bye. Uh, एक तो कमाल हो रहा है कि ना तो इंटरनेट फेल हुआ है, और हर इंसान का इंटरनेट भी कमाल चल रहा है, और मेरे बटन भी ठीक ठाक चल रहे हैं, कि मैंने कोई गलत विंडो नहीं बनाया है। सो आई थिंक अर्थ आर इज एक्चुअली प्रोटेक्टिंग मी। द नेक्स्ट आर्टिस्ट इज समबडी आई नो हर व्हेन माय करियर स्टार्टेड। जब मैं कोई नहीं था, इन्होंने मुझे चुना था अब के सावन के एक एल्बम के साथ। शी इज नन अदर देन शुभा मुदगल जी। शुभा मुदगल जी फॉर एवरीबडी, शुभा फॉर मी। Shubha, thank you for being part of Earth Hour yet once again.
No, thank you, Shantanu, for doing this. I think this is a very, very important issue that you are raising. And so I'm grateful to you for first doing this and also for including me. Many thanks.
Shubha, tell me one thing कि again we are coming from a COVID, and of course अभी तो full fledged concert शुरू नहीं हुआ, अभी होने वाले हैं। मैं आज beginning में दिया से ही बात कर रहा था कि तरक्की हो रही है, but हम कैसे थोड़ा mindless, we are not even thinking about everybody, we're just thinking about just one thing. Does it bother you, Shubha?
Well, of course, it does bother me. How can it not bother me? Because the effect things like climate change we're all experiencing, the effects of very poor air quality in our cities. We're all going through that. But at the same time, I also have to say, Shantanu, that very often we ourselves are to blame, because even without knowing it, we have not really taken very many steps. We look at our own convenience, and very often we our actions actually are such that they actually contribute further towards this worse, making this crisis much worse than it is. So in many ways, I'm as guilty as many others who are accused of doing
Yeah.
this. And I think each one of us will have to take a step and decide for ourselves what we can do to mitigate the disaster that we are already in.
Yes. Shubha, मैं जब भी whenever I write from आपके 7 days, and I know you have a academic bent of mind also where you like research, finding out क्या है क्या नहीं, वो हमेशा आप करती रहती थी. तो tell me one thing, I've often found that in many of your posts or something, कि something in Sanskrit you have posted which basically means कि please protect the environment. लेकिन ये तब से चल रहा है, ये तब से डंका बज रहा है, तब से ये वो लोग कहे जा रहे हैं कि ऐसा हो रहा है. How much of our scriptures talks about this crisis, Shubha?
Oh, it's full of deep reverence for the earth and for nature. And our songs, so many of the songs that we sing, whether it's in Hindustani classical music or whether they are folk songs, they are, in fact, in folk songs, you will find songs about each kind of tree, whether it is a peepal or whether it is kadamb tree or whether it is a neem ka ped. You will find songs that are in celebration of the sun and the radiance that it provides and the life that it provides to us. And our more classic scriptures also, for example, they're the most beautiful Sanskrit verses that are written to the great rivers of our country. And they really, I mean, I'm not a scholar of Sanskrit at all, but just reading through the translations makes you feel, oh my god, we are a country where our old scriptures actually give us so much information. So if you have a prayer to the river Narmada, she is praised not only for being the goddess Narmada, but for also giving life to many other beings who reside in her waters, like the little fish, the tortoise, the crocodile, the chakravak bird, turtles, everyone, So I think these we have enough references, and we, in fact, deify nature, and yet we are making mistakes. So I think the reminders are all there, but we need to open our ears and listen to the reminders.
Shubha, would you like to dedicate a song for the author? Anything of your choice?
Yes, why not? In fact, let me try and sing for you those just 2 out of the 8 verses that the great Adi Shankaracharya ji wrote for the river Narmada, which is called Narmada Shikam, but
Sure.
beautiful. So maybe I can sing that for you.
Please. Thank you
Let-
so much.
yeah.
Thank you so much. Just for people who don't know, Shubha is a tech geek.
सबिंदु सिंधु सुस्खल तरंग भंगरंजितं द्विषत् सुपाप जात जात कारी बारी संयुतं कृतांत दूत काल भूत भीतिहारि वर्मदे त्वदीय पाद पंकजं नमामि देवी नर्मदे प्रदम्बुलीन मीनदीन दिव्य संप्रदायकं कलौमलौघ भार हारि सर्व तीर्थनायकं सोमाच्छ कच्छ नक्र चक्र चक्रवाक शर्मदे त्वदीय पाद पंकजं नमामि देवी नर्मदे.
क्या बात. Just to let the audience know कि मैंने आज दोपहर को ही I was talking to Shubha and I said कि ये अवतार में बात करेंगे. Can you sing something which is specific to this from the scriptures that you read. इनको मैं शायद 1 घंटा का time दिया होगा. And see, look at this incredible lady. She has studied. She's taken out something. My thing is not just to praise her, and she of course is praiseworthy, but मुझे लगता है कि the seriousness with which you approach something, that is to be seen. हमारे इस show में we have the young, I'm not going to say old, but younger, सब मिला के है. But
don't need to be ancient now.
नहीं, but I think it is wonderful. Yes.
I knew this already, so I must confess that I didn't do anything new. I love these verses, and I knew them from before.
Shubha, as usual, because you speak very well, हमारे 3-4 मिनट रह जाते हैं. आप क्या इस 3-4 मिनट में कुछ और गा सकती हैं?
हाँ, क्यों? Let me see. एक बहुत सादा सा गीत है, लेकिन सूरज देवता पे है. तो सूरज बाबा ले हो पूजा हमारी, सूरज बाबा ले हो पूजा हमारी, गंगा जमुना के जल भर लायो, गंगा जमुना के जल भर लायो, सोने के गेरुआ से धारा धारी, सूरज बाबा ले हो पूजा हमारी, अक्षत फूल बतासा चढ़ावो, अक्षत फूल बतासा चढ़ावो, आरती उतारी, सूरज बाबा ले हो पूजा हमारी, हाथ जोड़ के तू काम बुलावो, हाथ जोड़ के तू काम बुलावो, दे दूँ अपन उजियारी, सूरज बाबा ले हो पूजा हमारी.
Thank you. This is so beautiful. This is so beautiful.
Thank you. There was this wonderful scholar, Dr. Vidya Vindu Singh, who has really studied the folk literature of Awadh, and has written these brilliant books and provided all these folk songs for us. So I know that, because I know that you're fond of folk music, do take a peep into that. You'll find the most lovely material there.
Peep क्या मैं आपको ही फोन करूंगा इसके लिए.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Shubha, for being part of Earth Hour on behalf of WWF-India. हर बार मैंने बुलाया, हर बार आती हैं आप, and you share us that just ये सिर्फ एक आइडियोलॉजी नहीं है, ये कब से हमको बताया जा रहा है हमारे संगीत में, हमारे कविताओं में, हमारे स्क्रिप्चर्स में, हमको सिर्फ देखना है, हमको सिर्फ सुनना है, इतना ही करना है. Thank you so much, Maati. Thank you so much. Thank you. Take care. Oof, my God. Incredible talent. बहुत पढ़ती हैं शुभा जी, बहुत पढ़ती हैं. मैं कब से जानता हूँ उनको, and वातावरण बिल्कुल, she makes it so beautiful. The next artist that I'm going to invite on stage, they're a husband-wife couple. I have got to know both of them thanks to my Ganga trip, where they were part of in one of my episodes. बहुत ही talented है दोनों. इनका परिचय माटी बानी के नाम से बढ़ जाता है, but actually this Karthik and Nirali. Oh my God, this is technology. जैसे मैं पहले समझ लूं, कार्तिक तुम कहाँ पे हो?
मैं लोनावला में हूँ.
और निराली तुम कहाँ पे हो?
मैं अभी मुंबई से लोनावला जा रही हूँ, मैं भी गाड़ी में हूँ. एंड थैंक्स टू यू, सब हम जल्दी करके आ गए इधर.
थैंक यू सो मच. तो डेवलपमेंट तो जरूरत है, अदरवाइज ये टेक्नोलॉजी पॉसिबल नहीं है, तो इतना जल्दी बम्बई से लोनावला नहीं पहुंच सकती. बट बिफोर वी टॉक अबाउट द अर्थ आवर, मैं तुम लोगों को एक क्या बोलते हैं ना, फैमिली पारिवारिक प्रश्न पूछता हूँ. बम्बई से तुम दोनों जब निकले और लोनावला में घर लिया, तुम लोगों का क्या रिश्ता बेहतर हुआ?
हाँ 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 सबसे पहले तो हमारा नेचर के साथ रिश्ता बहुत बेहतर हुआ, और नेचर के साथ रिश्ता बेहतर होने से हमारे सारे रिश्ते अच्छे हो गए,
वाह
नॉट जस्ट बिटवीन कार्तिक एंड मी बट
हम्म,
बिटवीन माय फ्रेंड्स।
वाह
पहले जब भी हम बॉम्बे में रहते थे तो फ्रेंड्स को थोड़ा बहुत मिल लेते थे, अभी फ्रेंड्स हमारे घर आके रुकते हैं, एक
ब्यूटीफुल
नाइट स्पेंड करते हैं, तो दैट हैज चेंज्ड। और बिकॉज हम नेचर में बहुत जाते हैं, टाइम बिताते हैं, वी आर वेरी
करेक्ट
हैप्पी इन
करेक्ट
जनरल, वी आर
आई
our
कैन सी इट
happiness,
आई कैन
yes,
सी इट
our
आई कैन
happiness
सी इट
quotient has gone up, and though it is slightly boring कि हाँ थोड़ा गांव टाइप है, चलता है, but overall it's
नहीं
been
वो भी
nice।
बहुत खूबसूरत हो जाएगा, तो चिंता मत करो, फिर हम भी तो आएंगे, चिंता मत करो।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, हमारी साइकिलिंग ट्रिप बाकी है।
बिल्कुल।
जी।
कार्तिक, आप मुझे बताएं एक चीज, दैट योर म्यूजिक, योर निरालीज म्यूजिक सीप्स टू मी सो मच अबाउट कॉन्शियसनेस। मैंने जब पहली बार हील द वर्ल्ड देखा था, आपने जब बच्चों के साथ किया था, एक सोच की बच्चों को भी इंक्लूड करना है अपने एक गाने में, अपने एक एंडेवर में। आई हैव ऑलवेज सीन यू इंक्लूड लॉट ऑफ, अभी जो प्रोजेक्ट है आप गांव गांव जा रहे हैं, यू आर गोइंग इन रिकॉर्डिंग स्टफ, सिर्फ आप स्टूडियो में नहीं बैठे हैं, ये अर्थ आर की बात चल रही है। क्या दिख रहा है आपको दुनिया में? व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, व्हाट आर द गुड थिंग्स हैपनिंग, व्हाट इज लिटिल आपको टेंशन हो रहा है कि यार ये ठीक होना चाहिए, नहीं तो प्रॉब्लम है? कैन यू जस्ट टॉक अबाउट इट?
So I think what we are seeing right now, you know, as nature is, नेचर की विभत्स अवस्था भी है और एक शांत अवस्था भी है. So the bad and good will
बोथ
always,
कोएग्जिस्ट।
it will always happen. And दादा, as you said, because वो गंगा के ट्रिप पे आपने एक सेंटेंस बताया था कि nothing is in our control, and you are calm, like things are going wrong and you are laughing. So we like ये कौन है, कैसे करते हैं ये? But I think the punch line जो बोलते हैं, the main line of nature, if we just accept that nothing is in our control and nature is the boss, like everything is happening because uh, because it's supposed to happen that way. If we accept that, then I think थोड़े problems कम हो जाएंगे दुनिया में.
बिल्कुल
And I
बिल्कुल
think right now most of the people are just thinking about themselves. या
बिल्कुल
हमारी ये चीज़ है, हमारा कन्वीनियंस है. बट आई थिंक आगे जाके यही एक सेंट्रल थॉट होना चाहिए कोई भी चीज़ में, वेदर इट्स माइक्रो और मैक्रो, दैट whatever we are doing, we are affecting the earth, and how we can change that, we can protect the earth, have a lesser consequence on us.
दैट्स ट्रू
So
दैट्स
every
ट्रू
thought, everything that we do, we should
एज अ
be consciously
रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी,
thinking about,
या
yeah,
देयर इज अ
that.
रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, बिल्कुल। निराली, मैं तो आप लोगों का बहुत बड़ा फैन हूँ, आपको पता है बेटा कि
Honored
व्हेन
to
आई
see।
से फैन हूँ, मैं कम, एक तो है एक फैन होना, एक तो है मुझे, मैं दाद देता हूँ आप लोगों की सोच की, कि हर चीज के पीछे एक सोच होता है, सिर्फ एंटरटेनमेंट नहीं है। आपको लगता है कि एक अगर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू किया जाए, एक नजरिया दिया जाए। आप लोगों का हाल ही में एक आप लोगों ने प्रोजेक्ट, अपने एल्बम अपने लॉन्च किया है, उसके सिंगल्स मैंने देखे हैं, उस एल्बम के बारे में कुछ बताएंगे, ये क्या है ये एल्बम?
बिल्कुल। सो अभी हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि हमारी जो भाषाएं हैं, रीजनल लैंग्वेजेस, तो उसमें हम एक्सप्लोर कर रहे हैं, और इतनी खूबसूरत भाषाएं हैं, अपनी फोनेटिक्स इतने सुंदर हैं। और आज ही मैं बैंगलोर में थी, तो जस्ट एक कोयल है, तो कोयल के कितने हमारे इंडिया में कोयल के कितने नाम है, कोगिल है, कोकिला है, कोयल है। तो ये ब्यूटी आई थिंक हमारे कंट्री में ही है। और मैंने ट्विटर पे भी पोस्ट डाला था कि हम एक ऐसा नेशन है कि हम 50 भाषा में गा के भी हम कह सकते हैं ये अपनी है।
वाह वाह
सो
वाह वाह, ओह
यस,
ब्यूटीफुल। सो
सो
डाइवर्सिटी
और
में यूनिटी है।
डाइवर्सिटी में यूनिटी है। और हमारे जो ट्रेडिशनल सॉन्ग्स हैं उसमें नेचर के साथ बहुत एक तालमेल हमेशा रहता है। तो अगर आपने भी किए हुए हैं, अगर बंगाली फिशरमैन के फोक
बिल्कुल
सॉन्ग्स
बिल्कुल
रहते हैं,
बिल्कुल
फिर
बिल्कुल,
फार्मर्स के अपने सॉन्ग्स रहते हैं,
राइट,
स्प्रिंग के बसंत के अपने सॉन्ग्स रहते हैं, राग्स
बिल्कुल
रहते हैं। तो हमारा जो इंडिजिनियस और ट्रेडिशनल म्यूजिक है वो नेचर के साथ एकदम घुल मिल गया हुआ है, तो उसी को हम एक्सप्लोर करने की अभी कोशिश करने वाले हैं। एंड एज कार्तिक मेंशन्ड कि हमारा एवरी स्टेप has to have some sort of connection with how we are contributing positively to the nature, and if that happens then it's great, but if not we are trying.
That is so beautiful. तुमने इतने सारे चीजों की नाम लिए। मैं और कार्तिक तो गा नहीं सकते, गिटार विटार बजाते हैं, बट इंटरनेट से पॉसिबल नहीं है। पर तुम जहाँ हो वहां पे बैठ के कुछ अर्थ आवर के लिए कुछ डेडिकेट करो, हम सब के लिए।
बिल्कुल। और अभी जस्ट शुभा जी का हम गाना सुन रहे थे गाड़ी में बैठ के। It was so beautiful. I'm so happy that I'll be singing right after her. So here it goes. Just a moment. थोड़ा तानपुरा लगा
देखिए
देते हैं।
कमाल है ये अभी बेचारे निराली गाड़ी में बैठी हुई है, तो ये गाड़ी से हो रहा है। नो, आई लव द एफर्ट दैट ईच वन एवरीबॉडी इज डूइंग इट, इस अर्थ आवर में पार्टिसिपेट करने के लिए। सब व्यस्त हैं, जहां जहां थम के ये इसमें पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं। इससे बेहतर मैसेज नहीं हो सकता कि अगर हम चाहते हैं हम साथ में मिलके वी कैन मेक अ डिफरेंस। इट इज जस्ट वी हैव टू थिंक दैट वी नीड टू मेक द डिफरेंस बिकॉज़ द टाइम हैज कम नाउ। थैंक यू निराली।
Yes. So Shantanu da, I'm continuing, but in case अगर मेरा बैटरी लो है, अगर मैं डिस्कनेक्ट हो जाऊँ तो you can
डोंट वरी, तब भी मुझे पता है तुम अच्छा गाती हो। चलो चलो।
राग मियाँ की मल्हार में बूंदन बूंदन।
वाह।
बूंदन बूंदन बरसे मेघ, बूंदन बूंदन बरसे मेघ, कजरा रे कारी बदरिया, कजरा रे कारी बदरिया, ऐसे नाचे मोरा मनवा, ऐसे नाचे मोरा मनवा, जैसे बन में मोर पपीहा, जैसे बन में मोर पपीहा, बूंदन बूंदन बरसे मेहा।
थैंक यू निराली। मुझे पता है इट्स सो डिफिकल्ट टू सिंग इन अ सिचुएशन लाइक दिस, तभी अभी आयो एक और शहर से गाड़ी में बैठ के, बट आई नो द एफर्ट यू एंड कार्तिक आर मेकिंग। आई वांट टू जेन्युइनली से दैट प्लीज कंटिन्यू मेकिंग म्यूजिक व्हिच मेक्स अ डिफरेंस, नॉट जस्ट एज एन एंटरटेनमेंट बट एज एन आइडियोलॉजी, बिकॉज ये चाहिए इज वी नीड कॉन्शियसनेस एंड आर्ट म्यूजिक आर द मोस्ट पोटेंट वेपन्स बाय विच हम जागरूक कर सकते हैं, हम सोच बदल सकते हैं, हम किसी को सोचने में मजबूर कर सकते हैं। And this power both of you have, I request whatever you do in future, include this also as part of your making, and I will be very happy. Thank you so much for being part of Earthar, Nirali and Karthik. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye. This is like marathon stuff from 8 o'clock, but I'm so indebted कि ये सारे artists, they're all coming part of this. They are leaving whatever they were doing to be part of this. I think I feel very good that, as again Dr. Sejal said, that everything cannot be about complaints कि क्या नहीं हो रहा है, जो नहीं हो रहा है, we are also part of that disaster we have created, but we can make a difference. We can all come part of it. We can all make it. We can all be the change and shape the future. The next artist is somebody who's very dear to me. He was somebody I had called in the Ganga because I'm a big fan of mine, part of my Ganga expedition, and he's such a wonderful person. Please welcome. This guy is a rage currently. His name is Sid Sriram. Hey Sid.
How's it going? Hi, thanks for having me.
God, thank you. I know you've been running around meeting your grandfather and all, and Chennai traffic and all that, but thanks for reaching on time, and I'm glad you're wearing the t-shirts. Both of us are wearing this t-shirt, right?
Yes. I love this T-shirt. Thank you for having me. I'm really honored to be a part of this.
Sid, you stay some part of your life in USA, okay, and some part of your life is stay in India. We know things which are different. We are on Earth Hour. We are talking about a crisis that the globe is, the entire Earth is facing in its entirety. And sometimes I think a calamity brings people together. Tell me, what do you see common between India and USA, which is damaging the world that we are living in?
Sure. I think just the pure or the simple answer to that would probably just be negligence. I think a certain sense of and maybe it's because of technology or whatever, but a certain self-centeredness seems to have kind of like really grabbed a hold of most people all around the world. Even I find myself victim to it sometimes, when you're just stuck on this thing, and just forgetting the world around you. And I think that's the biggest thing I see anywhere, whether I'm in the States or whether I'm here, is it's easy to forget that we live in this beautiful place that's filled with such magic and marvel, and in the process of doing that, we've gotten into a habit of treating Mother Earth poorly. I would say that is on the negative side. On the positive side, I see that there's, you still drive around in either place when I'm in the States or when I'm here, and you see kids like staring up at the sky, like looking at clouds, and so obviously like the wonder of the world and nature and this beauty that we live in is still very present.
Absolutely.
Maybe it's just up to more people to remind them of it.
No, but one thing very interesting you have said, and I genuinely believe that today's children are much more conscientious than we were. They are the people who are telling their parents not to buy crackers or not to drink fizz drinks. They are being the change. And that's why I think we have to set an example for them. That is globally, I think the young kids are much more conscientious about environment, and they are bringing in a whole revolution about a different way of thinking. Sid, it'll be a criminal offense if you are on this show and I just make you talk. Would you like to dedicate a song for the Earth Hour?
Sure. I think I'll sing. There's this Tamil song from the early 90s called Nila Kaigiradu.
Okay.
And it's a song that's filled with questions that are both personal and broader. But what I really love about the song, the poetry of it kind of ties in different aspects of Nila means the moon. So there's references to the moon, to the wind, to the sun. And it's one of my favorites. It's composition of A.R. Rahman. So I'll sing a little bit of that. நிலா காய்கிறது நேரம் தேகின்றது யாரும் ரசிக்கவில்லையே இந்த கண்கள் மட்டும் உன்னை காணும் தென்றல் போகின்றது சோலை சிரிக்கின்றது யாரும் சுகிக்கவில்லையே இந்த கைகள் மட்டும் உன்னை தீண்டும் காற்று வீசும் வெயில் காயும் காயும் அதில் மாற்றம் ஏதும் இல்லையே ஆவானும் மண்ணும் நம்மை வாழச் சொல்லும் அந்த வாழ்த்து ஓயவில்லை என்றென்றும் வானில் நிலா காய்கிறது நிறம் தேகின்றது யாரும் ரசிக்கவில்லையே இந்த கண்கள் மட்டும் உன்னை காணும்.
Oh my God, this is so beautiful, Sid.
Thank you.
Sid, I'm going to be absolutely obnoxious, and I'm going to ask you to sing something else because I have I think it's just we're coming to the end of the show. Gradually, we're nearing the end, and the lights will be on again. Okay?
Sure.
We will get on with our lives. I want people to remember this time, not just for this 1 hour, but this time that this means something. It means there are forests dying, there are people dying, there are animals dying, there are flowers blooming,
Sure.
there are children getting born,
Sure.
there are new rivers forming.
Yes.
This is all happening at the same time. But how long will this happen if we constantly think we are the only ones who are living on this?
That's right.
And this Earth Hour is special for a simple reason that so many of us come together to make this, and I'm sure it's happening all around the world. So many programs are happening. I'm indebted to WWF-India. They managed to send T-shirts to Chennai. It's amazing what all that, and this is important. Said I must say this, that the people who work in conservation, they are all unknown heroes.
Sure.
They're not in front of the camera or nothing. They don't even we don't even know who they are, but they're doing this, and it cannot be money, because I know that it is not about money. It's
Sure.
incredible commitment that these organizations do, and I'm so happy to be part of WWF India, where relentlessly they work through the year, not just for 1 hour, but through the
Yes.
year to make a change. They're putting money where their mouth is, and that is just incredible. And I really, really thank WWF India to be part of this. Sid, I wanted to sing something else, if you don't mind.
Sure. Why don't I do Uire? Since
Oh, lovely, beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Uire, uire, வந்து என்னோடு கலந்து விடு. உயிரே, உயிரே, என்னை உன்னோடு கலந்து விடு. நினைவே, நினைவே, எந்த நெஞ்சோடு கலந்து விடு. நிலவே, நிலவே, இந்த விண்ணோடு கலந்து விடு. காதல் இருந்தால் எந்த கண்ணோடு கலந்து விடு. காலம் தடுத்தால் என்னை மண்ணோடு கலந்து விடு. உயிரே, உயிரே, வந்து என்னோடு கலந்து விடு. நினைவே, நினைவே, எந்த நெஞ்சோடு கலந்து விடு. என் சுவாச காற்று வரும் பாதை பார்த்து உயிர் தாங்கி நான் இருப்பேன். மலர் கொண்ட பெண்மை வாராமல் போனால் மலை மீது தீ குளிப்பேன். என் உயிர் போகும் போனாலும் துயரில்லை கண்ணே, அதற்காகவா பாடினேன். வரும் எதிர்காலம் மீது பழி போடும் பெண்ணே, அதற்காக தான் வாடினேன். முதலா முடிவா அதை உன் கையில் கொடுத்து விட்டேன். உயிரே, உயிரே, வந்து என்னோடு கலந்து விடு. நினைவே, நினைவே, எந்த நெஞ்சோடு கலந்து விடு.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much.
Sid, you're so blessed, man. You're such
Thank
a
you,
beautiful
thank you.
voice. It touches straight to the heart.
Thank you.
Sid, do you just want to share with people a small experience that you and me had when we were on the banks of the river Ganga.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
we were on a boat, looking up into the sky. That was the moment where suddenly you felt that you're part of something very beautiful as a cosmos. The blue sky, the beautiful river, the beautiful landscape, and we were just a mere speck.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about this?
Yeah. I mean, for those who don't know, me and Shantanu really, I got to meet him and be a part of his journey through the Ganga Songs of the River project. And I got, for the first time, I really got to spend time on the Ganga, you know, and I think probably the most profound moments was the final evening. I was there for 3 days, and on this final evening, we finished doing everything, and just him and I were just floating on the, it was a small boat, laying down, looking up at the sky, and it was turning to dusk, and you could slowly start to see stars kind of coming in. It was just so peaceful, and it definitely triggered and changed something within my own soul and spirit. Up until that point, I was, you know, kind of running around a whole bunch, and it was a very hectic time the months before this. But something about this, specifically the Ganga, the sky that day, and the silence of it, it just one, it humbled me, but two, like you just mentioned, it was just the most beautifully profound reminder that we are but a speck, and the most optimal or powerful or a liberating way to live life is, you know, existing within it, being present with nature, giving ourselves to it, and taking in what it gives back. And that was a moment that just kind of reaffirmed that, reminded me of that. It was an epiphany of sorts. And I would say, for those that have the luxury, which to just step outside and take in nature, maybe it's not necessarily the Ganga, but even if you just can just step out and walk barefoot on the grass one day, or do something like that, this was the most beautiful reminder for me. The fact that I was able to take all this in, it was just it was profound. It was really profound.
Thank you, Sid, for being part of this. You know, it's incredible that every artist that I have reached out to, be it from a car, hanging out of the bus, rushing into the house, they have just managed to make this on time and made Earth Hour special. Thank you for being part of this, Sid. And
thank you for having me.
You take care. Love you. Small housekeeping notes before I introduce the my last guest, who is I can see is just getting ready. My last guest is Papon. But before I get him on board, I just want to say that please share the WWF-India anthem that Mohit and I have done. More people see it. I'm hoping that something will happen. So please share it. Also follow WWF-India to help protect India in its natural world. That's very important. They are also doing an amazing thing called the 5R for Earth Hour Challenge. The 5 R's are reduce, reuse, recycle, repurpose, and refuse. This you will get in the WWF India website. So just be there, part of this Earth Hour Challenge. My final guest for tonight is none other than Papon. Papon, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
This is so amazing. I know it's been an incredibly busy day for you. You were at another event, and thank you for kind of making this on time. Papon, you've always been a champion of things which are conscientious, like environment. Right from the beginning of your career as a singer, I've seen your concerts and everything. You keep on telling your fans that, hey, you need to do this, you need to do this, don't do this. I've always seen this dialogue, Papon. Am I right in saying so?
Yes, actually, yes.
Yeah, that is so amazing. Papon, I've also seen you currently traveling around a lot in Assam.
Yes, actually, I'm. Yeah.
What are you discovering?
I am going into very remote places to, like, I have sung lots of folk music of Assam also. for recording purpose and for many other things. But now I'm actually going in to feel why and how it's done in and where it's done. And most of it is all about agriculture, nature, like native wisdom about when the floods come, or why the sun is strong, or when is a drought going to happen. Everything is like there. So all that I sung before, I want to now जाके मुझे देखना है कि अभी actually में क्या क्यों गाते हैं वो लोग, कैसे गाते हैं.
क्या बात.
So I'm
I love
traveling
this.
to very remote places, and now I'm feeling it like, oh, now I need to sing again in a different, actually again.
I get you. And अभी समझ क्या गाओगे तुम? Because you've
और
experienced it.
ज्यादा समझ के
है ना? But why did this idea come to? क्या जरूरत पड़ी तुमको ये करने की?
एक तो of course my parents who were my guides and everything, the reason why I'm doing music maybe, and the reason I romance nature, reason I romance food, everything was my father and mom also. तो वो दोनों नहीं रहे, तो I felt suddenly that ठीक है, अब जो किया अब I need to really get real to what is real, and we are at a stage of life generally in life, in time where native wisdom, and we are getting away from nature, we are getting away from those folklores, we are getting away from where it all started. It is everything getting documented and digitized, but it's all second hand. First hand is we are going to lose the first hand. Even nature, even food, even stories, real people. I feel like I don't know, I'm feeling this. So that's why मुझे लग रहा है दिन भर दिन वो खत्म होता जा रहा है, वो जो नेचर का एक अपना एक जगह था, because we settle near rivers and all of that, and they were the lifelines, they were gods, we worship rivers. Now it's part of our we use it now, it's other way around now, we are using the river now, or nature.
Do you get angry when you see people just thinking about themselves?
No, I laugh it out. I can be serious about it. ये बहुत ही मतलब वाहियात और हंसने वाला मामला है. Like it's like, oh man, अपने अपने कुल्हाड़ी पे पाँव मारना.
अपने पैर में कुल्हाड़ी मार रहे हो.
अब तो कुल्हाड़ी पे पैर मार रहे हैं. थोड़ा कुछ अलग ही हो रहा है,
So
it's funny how we don't realize what
I can see that laughter is actually cynicism, that इनको समझ ही नहीं आ रहा. There's this amazing moment in Apollo 11 when it was going to moon. That's when the astronauts turned around to see the Earth, and Earth was एक छोटा सा blue dot. It's called the blue dot. So the astronaut ने क्या किया, उस विंडो से उसने ऐसा थंब किया और वो अर्थ इसके पीछे छुप गया. And he said an amazing thing. He said कि ये जो मैंने छुपाया, kings, emperors, paupers, civilizations, they all disappeared behind this. इतना ही छोटा है ये. और इसे ना तो मैंने उस अर्थ के लेफ्ट में किसी को देखा, ना तो उस अर्थ के राइट में किसी को देखा, ना तो ऊपर किसी को देखा, ना तो नीचे किसी को देखा. तो मतलब हम ही हैं. If we are the only one left on this earth, it is scary. What are we doing to this? There is nobody to save us but ourselves. It's one of the most poignant things I have seen read by an astronaut. And I think that is where artists, thinkers, children, I know you're doing some amazing things with the children. You take them to forest, teach them how to cut wood, tactile, touch, make them touch things so that know what is water, what is sand, what is leaf, so that it is not just the virtual world. Papon, you are, without knowing, you are a huge inspiration for me, because every time I talk about anything about conservation, I am always telling your name, because you do this not for any other branding. It's because this is your ideology. You are the son of the soil, and that's how you have come. This is your music comes from there. मैंने तुम्हारे बारे में बहुत सुंदर सुंदर बातें कर दी हैं. अब तुम एक काम करो, तुम इस अर्थ आवर के लिए एक कुछ गा दो.
Oh wow, गिटार तो रखा है, आपने बोला था कुछ गाना पड़ेगा. So I was trying to look for some song which was apt nature, वैसे तो मेरे हर गाने में नेचर का
हाँ, कुछ ना
सिमिली मेटाफोर होता ही है.
वो प्रेशर मत लो, whatever comes to your heart.
So I was trying to remember song. अभी बीच में गलत हो गया तो रोक दूंगा, क्योंकि मैं खुद का ही गाना है, भूल भी हो सकता है. And I can't hear your voice very clearly, so I'm I don't know. आपका नहीं है, it's my phone or whatever. It's just
Maybe,
very
doesn't
low
matter.
volume.
But I can hear you. I can hear you.
So when I talk, I won't be able to hear you so much. So this is what we did sometime back, Vaibhav and me, about rivers. कि उसने बहुत चला कि वैसे ही रहना वैसे ही बहना. Because no, you know, telling the river कि गुस्सा मत हो जाना basically, because we have really screwed it up. तो बोले कि वादियों से बस्तियों से मत खफा होना. है तेरे ही दम से सब कायम. है तेरे ही दम से सब कायम. वैसे ही रहना प्लीज, वैसे ही बहना. We just requesting the river कि हम तो कुछ कर नहीं पा रहे, आप प्लीज बदल मत जाना. And it's scary. I see बॉम्बे में रह के और पता लगता है, क्योंकि बड़ा शहर है जो होने वाला है हर छोटे शहर को अब, एंड गाँव को भी हो जाने वाला है. The all rivers are looking black slowly. And उनको नाला कहा जा रहा है. लोग कहते हैं ये ड्रेन क्यों है? ऐसे ड्रेन नहीं, ये नदी था, हमने ड्रेन बना दिया है. You know, it's there we are heading. So it's little dark in color also, but the rivers. वैसे ही रहना वैसे ही बहना. वादियों से बस्तियों से मत खफा होना. है तेरे ही दम से सब कायम. वैसे ही रहना. सदियों से जिसके दामन में खेली तहजीबे, जाने कितने युग सिमटे हैं उसके लहरों में. होने देंगे ना यूं बोझ हम उसका सीना. वैसे ही रहना. वैसे ही बहना. वादियों से बस्तियों से मत खफा होना. है तेरे ही दम से सब कायम. वैसे ही रहना.
9:30 बज गया है, तो लाइट ऑन करने का टाइम है, बट मैं लाइट ऑन नहीं करूंगा बिकॉज ये माहौल बिल्कुल करेक्ट है. बिफोर गोइंग, just 4 lines, if you remember, of O Meek, if you can.
Oof. Again, see, this I think was totally inspired by nature when you created it.
Totally.
आपने जब बनाया था, और हम जब वहाँ वादियों में एक्चुअली बैठे हुए थे, कश्मीर की वादियों में. नो में কেন চলে যা দূরে সীমানা ছাড়া. যদি থমকে দাঁড়াও আমিও যাই, আমাকে না.
ওঢেউ ওঢেউ
ওঢেউ কেন বয়ে যা দূরে সীমানা ছাড়াও. যদি থমকে দাঁড়াও आने हो जाए हवा के नाम
पीछे अगर
पीछे अगर छूटेगा घर चूल्हा जलाती जो माँ है मेरी ताके जो हाथ कटीरेगा कैसे मैं छोड़ के जाऊं कहीं
क्या बात. Thank you
बहुत दिनों
so
बाद
much.
गया आप बोल
I
रहे थे
know, I
फिर
know. नहीं, but it is. I think मेरे को I also mood में आ गया मैं. So I wanted to hear this. Papon, thank you for being part of this. Every time I've called you, again you have come. Keep making great music. Keep making a change because this change is needed, Papon. You are the influencers. People listen to you in your concerts. But if you tell them to do small things, I keep on saying, घर के बाहर थोड़ा कटोरे में पानी रख दो, जिस कमरे में नहीं हो वहां पर लाइट ऑफ कर दो, किसी के घर में गए नल का खुला हो तो बोल दो भैया नल बंद कर दो. You can do these small things. They don't have to be gigantic things. And I think at the end of it, if you can genuinely believe that all of us have equal right on this earth, it is just not me as human beings right, the birds, the bees, the animals, the plants, each of us have to live together. I think the earth becomes a potent weapon. Papon, thank you for being part of this, and I will catch you in a few days. Okay?
Sure. Thank you,
Love you,
Shantanu.
Babu.
Thank
Love you so much.
Yeah,
Love
thank
you. So with this, we kind of come to the end of the Earth Hour broadcast. I want to thank our live streaming partners, HSBC, Woodland, and Dainik Jagran, and of course, WWF-India. Be the change. Make this change so potent that our futures become okay. I'm not guaranteeing they'll be great, but they'll be okay. But if we don't take care of our present today, we can't guarantee the future. And with this, I just want to thank all of you who took part. I don't know, बहुत कुछ चल रहा है, IPL चल रहा है, everything is happening. But those of you who were part of this, thank you so much for at least beginning to be the change. And once again, thank you, WWF India, for giving me the honor of being the host for tonight. Namaskar. Thank you.